Our no secrets rule was broken, and so was my heart, part 2. If the part 1 of our story felt like a strange kind of freedom, this part is where it began to taste bitter. Ethan's connection with Sophie shifted the ground beneath me in ways I didn't see coming. At first, her name was sprinkled into conversations the way people mention coworkers or casual friends. But little by little, it became a regular feature in our daily lives. Sophie said this, Sophie showed me that, Sophie and I laughed about this meme. It wasn't just a fling anymore, it was starting to sound like a relationship. I tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. After all, we had rules. He wasn't lying, he was telling me about her. But what unsettled me wasn't what he shared, it was what he stopped sharing. Instead of, I'm seeing Sophie tonight, it became, I'll be out for a bit. Instead of telling me how it went, he'd shrug and say, fine. He wasn't breaking our rules out loud, but the silence between his words felt like betrayal all the same. Meanwhile, I had been careful not to let anyone get too close. I went on a handful of casual dates, but I always made sure to keep them light, surface level. I didn't want to risk falling for someone else. The entire point of our arrangement, at least for me, was to keep us strong. But Ethan? He was glowing in ways I hadn't seen in months, and that glow didn't seem to come from me anymore. The first real crack came one evening when I reached over to cuddle with him in bed. He stiffened, like he wasn't in the mood. I rolled away quietly, trying to be understanding. But then his phone buzzed. I glanced at it on the nightstand. Sophie's name lit up the screen. He picked it up quickly, whispered something, and smiled. That smile hit me harder than any argument could have. It was the kind of smile that used to belong to me. I couldn't hold it in any longer. Ethan, I asked, my voice tight, are you getting too close to her? He sighed, sitting up, his face caught between frustration and guilt. No. I mean, yes, we hang out a lot. But it's not like I'm in love with her. I just like spending time with her. Isn't that the point of this whole thing? I wanted to scream, no, that wasn't the point. But I didn't. Instead, I swallowed my fear and nodded, even though my stomach churned. I told myself I had to be mature. That jealousy was natural, and I just needed to trust him. But the problem wasn't Sophie, it was the shift in how Ethan treated me. He started canceling plans with me more often. Our movie nights became rare. He was distracted when we were together, glancing at his phone, half listening. I would tell him about my day, and he'd respond with a distracted, that's nice. The transparency we'd promised each other was slipping. He wasn't lying outright, but he was hiding in the spaces between the truth. And the worst part? I let him. I told myself that if I pushed too hard, I'd be the one ruining everything. One Saturday, I tried to recreate one of our old traditions. I cooked his favorite meal, poured us wine, lit candles. I wanted to remind him of us. But halfway through dinner, his phone buzzed. He tried to ignore it, but I caught a glimpse of the name, Sophie. I couldn't stop myself. Does she always need you this much? I asked, sharper than I intended. His fork clinked against the plate as he set it down. You said you wanted honesty. I'm being honest. I care about her. Not the way I care about you, but she's important to me. Important. That word echoed in my mind like a warning bell. We didn't fight, not really. We just sat there in silence, the food cooling between us, both pretending we hadn't crossed into dangerous territory. But deep down, I knew we had. That night, when I lay awake next to him, I realized something terrifying. Our no secrets rule wasn't protecting us anymore. It was exposing us. Every detail he gave me about Sophie felt like a knife, and every detail he didn't give me was worse. I wanted to believe we were strong enough. I wanted to believe he still saw me as his home, his partner, his future. But the truth was harder to face. Somewhere along the way, our experiment stopped being about freedom and started being about distance. And that distance was growing, one secret, one smile, one Sophie at a time. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, stay tuned for part 3.